And welcome everybody to the Bison Video Blog. Look at this, celebrating year 15. You posted this. This is the old closet at the forum when we were doing this. Look at that. That picture is 12.
Changed it at all.
That's 12 years old.
Man, you look like you're 10. Is that right out of
Oswego High right there? No, I'm a couple years removed.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody, year 15, buddy boy, on the Bison Video Blog. Happy New Year.
Happy
Let's
New
rock
Year.
and roll with the best way possible. The Bison playing an FBS game out of the chute. Jeff Kolpack against the University of Colorado.
As long as we're there, these Colorado media people on the internet, he's Dom Izzo. So when he's talking about how bad the offensive line can be,
attribute it to me. Yes.
You're not Jeff Kolpack.
Yes. What do we make of all the hoopla surrounding the Buffaloes right now? That Deion has already banned a reporter from asking any questions about the program, which is getting national attention today. You made a great point on Hot Mic this morning that's all there. It seems like the game is almost secondary, in my opinion.
It's just strange. I've never had to cover a game like this, Dom. And when you go into it, there's such conflicting philosophies. And and what I mean about that is just the way things have materialized. If I'm NDSU, I'm going, okay, you just stay quiet. You just go walk in. You just prepare. And you just kind of show up and do your thing. Let the drama happen in Boulder. And oh man, there's been drama. But that's the way Deion Sanders operates. That's the way he's always operating.
I think he wants it that way, right?
Well, it sure seems like it because he doesn't care. I mean, when he walks in and doesn't really know about the Bison as he's reading at his press conference on a sheet on Coach Polisek.
Yes, correct.
It's just different levels of a lot of things. I mean, totally different ways of going about a program.
The Bison are heading into this as a beat-up unit without two of their All-Americans from a season ago. We know Hunter Brozio, you reported late last week that his career is over, the talented fullback and long snapper. That's going to get filled. Combination of guys. Now, Logan Hofstad's not 100% either. He's got a bum shoulder. I would look for Truman Weremeyer, maybe Luke Kokat to get some run. And Caleb Bowers was already taking a bit of the long snapping duty last year. He's going to have it full time now in 2024.
Well, here's the thing about these injuries, Dom, and I think this is important to know. It's not like this happened last week. I mean, I think NDSU coaches have gone along with the assumption that Wisniewski may not play this year. This isn't news that happened last week. Hunter Brozio has been ailing since he didn't go through spring ball. Wisniewski didn't go through spring ball. And so you've had all this time to develop and to coach up some players who you figured had the possibility and distinct possibility of getting into the lineup, and that's what's happened.
So let's dive into more here on Wisniewski. We were talking about on Hot Mic for those that missed it. There's a few possibilities here. He had surgery. We know that. He's not playing Thursday. The bigger question is his availability for the season, which we'll find out later today at Tim Polisek's press conference. And then if he's not available to play in 2024, the decision that lays in front of him after that.
Well, maybe I don't know the specifics of the injury, honestly. I mean, and what particular surgery
I don't know the particulars on that, no.
Yeah, so until we find out, the serious nature, or maybe it's I mean, you look at a knee injury, it can be anywhere from 3 weeks to 9 months. I mean, and we don't know what kind of timeline and what he's going through.
It's his foot. That's all we know.
That's all we know.
Ankle is something in that nature that from the surgery he had in the offseason that either is not healed properly or it's not at the spot where he's ready to play.
How about the feet and the foot problems that NDSU has gone through? You go back to Noah Gindorf and the ankle surgery. He tried to make a go of it in 2022 and just didn't have it. I talked to him. Now he's the new sideline guy for 1660, but I talked to him last week, and he said that he never really got healthy after that ankle surgery. It just never quite came back to where he needed it to make a real serious run at the NFL. Had two teams, had Seattle and Pittsburgh, and then eventually got waived out of the league. Now, and then you got Hunter Brozio, same foot. You got Cole Wisniewski, foot.
I look at, for Wisniewski thinks he has NFL potential. Obviously, I think the scouts believe that as well. He's got to play, Jeff, and he's only played 1 year at safety. That, to me, is like, all right, so either he's going to come back to Fargo for 2025 or he's going to find a new spot to play, a new school to play at.
Correct, and I said this on your show. You look back to what Trey Lance went through one full season, and you talked to several people who didn't think he had enough pictures or enough experience at the college level, and maybe that's affected him in an NFL. Cole Wisniewski's played only 1 year at safety. Now, he's an older player, but he's played only 1 year at safety. Has he had enough pictures to really give him a bona fide NFL shot?
I would think the answer is no, but we'll see. We'll find out. Hopefully,
and if he does play,
answers.
does he play here?
Right. That's the other thing on that. I don't know if that's a given for next season either. They would love to have him, considering what Colorado brings to the table. And Tim Polassek's already gone on the record saying Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback that this school has ever faced in an FBS game. I think that goes without saying. I was just going through the list. C.J. Beathard from Iowa played in the NFL. He had a shot there. But Shedeur is a different animal altogether, Jeff, with his ability to get out of the pocket, make play. This is what everybody knows, but Polasek hinted to me it's his ability actually to make plays in the pocket that surprised him.
You think about these guys with Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders and Shiloh Sanders at Jackson State, how they didn't beat everybody by 75 points.
I had somebody bring that up to me about that. That's a good point.
Well, maybe their lines weren't as very adept or good, but the talent is there. There's no question. I go to Ken O'Brien back in the early 80s from Cal Davis, who was a first-round draft pick as a quarterback. I think he's up there, but he didn't possess this kind of ability.
And that's the thing for the Bison back end of this defense. And let me actually start up front. That's where they have their most experience. They have the most guys back. It's going to be a huge game for the Bison defensive line if they want to win this football game.
Well, didn't Bison played Roman Gabriel too?
Yeah, that's true.
Before we were born. They did. But the offensive lines obviously I think is where this game's going. If NDSU is going to win, it's no secret. It's how did they beat Iowa? How did they beat Iowa State? How did they beat Kansas State? They beat all these teams because they're better up front and they're better on the offensive line. And if they're not better on the offensive line this time around, they have no shot.
Here, I want to throw a position at you I haven't talked about yet, linebacker. Because I think you're going to see a lot of, I think Grant Olson has said it, that they're actually going to do it. They're going to rotate guys. So if you see Nathaniel Staling out there, if you see Marcus Gully, maybe even Austin Altapeter or Enoch Sibamana, it's not going to just going to be Wirtz out there with Oscar Benson and Logan Kopp, I think, and Kubitz as well. I think you're actually going to see some rotation at the linebacker spot.
Well, what did Grant went on the record during Media Day saying that he has one of the best and deepest core of linebackers in the FCS, not just Missouri Valley, but FCS. And I guess we'll see that if we put to the test. Now, we've been saying that for 35 years, that are they going to rotate? Now, they rotated middle last year, but this is generally a position where NDSU has been shy to rotate.
That's being generous. I would say there's unwilling to rotate is maybe the best way. And I'll also look at corner because they're going to have somebody new starting there. Probably Anthony Shadimi Alfaro is going to start, whether it's Jaquise Alexander or Marcus Shepard. Shepard had not missed a practice, which Polasek alluded to. He really appreciated that.
I would imagine you put Jaquise Alexander on Travis Hunter. I don't know. I think he's your A1 cornerback. Most experienced, been around. I think he's your best cornerback, too. I think he has the best matchup potential with Travis Hunter. Now, you're not going to go one-on-one with Travis Hunter, entire game, so it's going to be the Tampa 2 will be tested for sure on matchups.
Now, you mentioned him. Hunter is the closest to what Deion was as a player. This is the guy who played the most snaps in FBS of anybody last year. He's not only just a standout wide receiver, he's a standout corner as well. Now, he's not 100%. That's something to keep an eye on, but you watch him. I mean, this is him at corner making plays. He's just he's an athletic freak, man.
Yep, he's an athletic freak. I think it'll certainly be the best wide receiver they'll face since Tyler Lockett from Kansas State back in 2013. Lockett's still playing in the NFL, I believe.
The Seahawks,
And but it's
look at that. I mean, he goes up and makes that play. What are you going to do?
It's just God-given ability. I mean, he's going against two guys, and I don't know if they're pretty good players. I would imagine that wow, that's just pretty special stuff.
That's the thing that for the Bison defense, I don't know how you corral a guy like that. And also, if you're Cam Miller, you got to know where number 12 is on the field defensively, too.
And how does this guy do it? He's a 4.0. He had a 4.0 last semester. You got to be smart. You got to be really intelligent to be able to handle two positions. And he also played the most snaps in FBS last year. Well, when a guy goes two ways, I guess now will we see Cole Payton?
That was my next question.
In a similar offensive role.
I don't think we're going to see him. We're not going to see Cole Payton on defense.
I'd like to see him at linebacker.
I mean, all right, but how many? Let me give you a hypothetical. How many positions or different spots do we see Cole Payton at on Thursday night?
I think, I don't know. I think we'll see a player or two at tight end. I think we'll see a player or two at running back. I think we'll see him on special teams. Certainly we'll see him at quarterback.
That's score right there. He's got to get on the field.
Well, yeah, he's got to get on the field. Yep. He's your best athlete, in my opinion.
Yes.
He's your biggest,
Cam Miller
strongest.
said that too.
He's the biggest, strongest player they have. He outran secondaries against Northern Iowa, Eastern Washington.
Montana State, and
outran their secondaries. Yep. And so when you have that kind of ability, no more clipboards for Mr. Payton.
No, I don't think so. If this game is a 10-point game going to the fourth quarter, how much of a chance the Bison give a chance to win the football game?
Decent, depending on how the offensive line and the ground game and time of possession obviously will be a big deal. Will they have enough time of, will they control the ball?
Yeah.
And be patient enough to control the ball heading into the fourth quarter, like they did against Iowa, like they did in the 80-yard, 18-play drive against Kansas State.
Yep.
And they just didn't do it at Arizona. They had the chances there.
They definitely did.
Couldn't put it away.
They had 2 chances, and they could not put that game away. One other injury note to bring up in the running back spot is Barika Penu is trending in a direction where he looks like he'll be able to play, and that's a huge boon to that running back room.
Well, it is, and because you got young guys behind him. You got Marty Brown, who I think has shown all the ability in the world in practice, but again, that's practice.
We think Peter Haugo may suit up?
Well, I think he will. He looked pretty good. He looked pretty fast out there in practice.
And that's the thing where at the running back spot, and we talked about this last week on the BMZ of the running back status. But I think this is Marty Brown's welcome to Bison fans. I think he's due. I think he could have a really good game on Thursday night.
So you think he'll be as a redshirt freshman, like a Bruce Anderson instant impact?
I do. I think we've seen
Crockett.
We've seen enough from spring ball and fall camp that. This guy's waiting to be unleashed, and there's no film on him yet. Just let him go and be athletic. I think this might be the game.
One thing about Peter Haugo, I was wondering how his speed at North, and I saw him play at North, how at the double A level North Dakota would translate over to the Division I level.
Worked okay.
I think it's fine.
Polisek also said this, and this is right up your alley. He thought special teams could be a huge factor in games like this. Now, the Bison obviously have experience at place kicker and punter. Colorado's got one of the best punters in the country in Mark Bassett. That's something to keep an eye on for this game, I think, on Thursday night.
Yeah, well, Griffin Crosa has been around the block a long time, on track to be the all-time leading scorer at NDSU. And if it gets down to it, I like the chances if Griffin is counted on to be a difference maker.
Bison have been down the road before where they've had a field goal to win an FBS game. It's going to be a fantastic environment. We'll be out there, of course. Don't forget our coverage on Thursday night. We'll have Bison Game Day for you, 6:30 with Jeff and myself. Sam Getzinger will join, and Kyle Emanuel won't miss that. So it's 6:30 on WDAY. And then don't forget the football game itself is on ESPN. So don't call the station. Don't call Kolpack. It's on ESPN. It's not on WDAY. But we'll be with you at 6:30. We'll also be with you from 3 to 4 on WDAY Plus at Inforum.com, live from Boulder.
2 pregame shows.
It's a big deal, man. We're going to deliver as best we can. So we look forward to seeing everybody out there in Boulder on Thursday. Ready to do this again for another great season. For Jeff Kolpack, I'm Dom Izzo. That's the Bison Video Blog.